Hello and welcome back to Supposedly Fun. My name is Greg.
I'm Joel.
And we are doing something very different for us. We've never done it before, so this might be a little awkward.
Yeah, I'll do my best. I'm no Julia Child, but bear with me.
We're going to try. And Jamie is walking around at our feet as she does. So this is a celebration because I got more than 10,000 subscribers.
Woo! Congratulations.
Yeah. And since Joel is part of that, we thought it would be fun to do something together. And then some people had suggested that rather than do like a standard Q&A, we could do like a cooking video.
So I think we're going to do a little cooking video and a little Q&A, but some fun, silly Q&A.
Yeah. And welcome to our kitchen, by the way. It is, I'm going to say it, it's not our dream kitchen.
But it works.
But it works. It gets the job done. So what are we going to make? Because you thought a lot about what to do. We knew we wanted to do a cake because a cake is kind of celebration.
Yeah.
So what did you decide?
But I want to do a fun cake. It's from the New York Times. It's called a cocoa flan. So it's going to be a chocolate cake and a flan together. But there's some magic that's going to happen here.
Yeah, it's actually, one, it's a delicious cake. Two, it's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah.
So I do this a lot when I'm actually baking with kids, and they're like, wow. Yeah. So let me wow you all.
Yeah. So what do we...
We are going to put a recipe down below. It will link to my cookbook site.
Yes.
And you can follow along because I've done most of the mise en place, getting everything together, and so I'm just going to basically kind of go through it quickly, but I'll kind of show you in steps what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there.
Mise en place, by the way, is a really good word. What does it mean? Everything in its place?
Everything in its place.
Yeah.
So it's a French term. I really like to do this a lot because, especially with a husband, a dog, and distractions going on, I always forget, did I put that in there? So what I do is I'll take my recipe and I'll put all the ingredients. So we need a cup and a third of all-purpose flour. So I try to have everything out so I don't need to measure. So then when I go down to the instructions, I don't have to go back up to say how much salt and then back down, how much this and go back down. So I do that a lot. And then when I'm doing multiple things in the kitchen, I don't forget things.
Yeah.
Because I know when we do Christmas cookies, we do like 10 batches a day.
We do.
Of 10 different cookies. So it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So we
are very extra.
So let's get on. Let's make a cocoa flan.
Let's do it.
It's a fun cake.
When we cook, we usually put a towel over the shoulder. How did I become the only one? Because you don't have to.
I haven't started yet.
Oh, well, there you go.
Plus, I want everybody to see
Bros That Bunt.
Bros That Bunt.
They were an account on Instagram. I don't know if they're active anymore.
No, they're gonna. So I'm doing my 25th anniversary bunt can. Okay.
Yeah.
And if you step aside, you can see my gallery of bunt pans on the wall.
So I collect books. He collects. We're starting a bunt collection.
A bunt collection, but I also do baking stuff. So.
Yeah.
So we are going to do a bunt. There's a hole in it.
Yes.
That's for
Kurt
Anderson.
Yeah.
There's a hole in it.
There's a hole in it. Anybody who loves My Big Fat Greek Wedding understands.
Yes. If you don't understand, go watch the movie.
Go watch the movie.
All right.
So
in my bowl, I have my dry ingredients. I'm sorry, I got to read.
Yeah.
I have my all-purpose flour, my sugar, cocoa powder, baking soda, baking powder, cinnamon, salt, all in there,
Easy.
already mixed up.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is now add my wet ingredients, or I'm going to add my butter into it first.
Yeah.
So I want to add the butter in, and it really needs to be room temperature.
Yeah.
By the way, it's 99 degrees here today.
It is. So you're welcome.
This is a big celebration, and yes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put the butter and the dry ingredients, and then just mix it till it starts looking like sand. Hopefully the mixer isn't too loud, but this is kind of my dream little table. I have 2 KitchenAid mixers and a kind of a Cuisinart Vitamix blender. But basically I want to get the butter fully combined into the dry ingredients so it starts looking like sand. That way you know your butter is evenly distributed among everything. Could you grab me a spatula? Huckleberry. I love my spatulas, and this is my Huckleberry spatula, which I pretty much use. I think this gets used most of the time between you and I.
Yeah, it's always the one I reach for.
I also like my red one and my orange one.
Yeah.
All right. So.
It does look sandy.
Yeah. Pretty much I don't have any big clumps of butter and I don't have any big clumps of flour or anything. So basically we're just kind of mixing it all up.
Yeah.
So,
and in case you couldn't hear that over the mixer, Joel has 2 KitchenAids and a big old blender.
Big old blender.
Yeah.
So over here, my wet ingredients, I have my espresso, buttermilk, an egg, and vanilla bean paste.
So magic.
Magic. So one of my favorite ingredients is vanilla bean paste. I use pretty much for most things. Where you can see the beans, I just used a little bit in my cake. But when we do the flan, I want to see those little vanilla beans. They make me very happy.
It does. He's not kidding.
But if I'm using just straight old vanilla, I'll do a pure vanilla extract from Madagascar. All right, so I'm going to add my liquid mixture fairly slowly. I just want to make sure it gets evenly combined, and if I just dump it in all at once, it could start clumping on me, and I don't want to do that. Another thing you really want, especially for this cake, you want all your ingredients to be at room temperature. It will affect how your cake works.
It will.
Grazie. Being that there is some flour in here, I really don't want to over mix it, so I'm just going to scrape down my bowl, scrape the bottom, and just make sure everything is cohesive and together and not lumpy. Excellent.
Very nice.
So honestly, I think we only did our prep and our mise en place. It really took about a half an hour to do this all. So this is a quick cake, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So right now, it basically looks like you're making a brownie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brownie mix. And I'll kind of show you here in a minute, but I gotta get all this off.
Yeah. We don't waste anything.
We don't waste anything, but I definitely have to leave a little on for somebody to lick.
It's me.
I get the bowl.
Yeah.
So, a lot of you know I really enjoy baking, and I have been a pastry chef. So, this is really fun for me to do, and we thought it would be a fun thing to do for Greg's celebration and knock yourself out.
Yay! And I will wash my hands when I'm done. But
okay,
it's good. It's coming together really nicely. And actually, so I'll tell you now. I went back and looked at some questions from my old 3K Q&A, and a lot of questions were about you.
Oh,
most of them were, because at that point, Joel had not appeared on the channel.
Yeah, nobody knew.
At all. So there were a lot of questions about, what's Joel like? What does he think of your channel? And all that. So it's nice that this video is very much about you.
Fun fact. I think it was almost 6 months to a year before I knew he had a channel.
That is true. I was embarrassed.
Why? I think it's amazing for him. All right.
Yeah.
So I greased up my pan really good. I don't need flour. When I'm using very intricate bunk pans like this, one of my favorites is Bake Clean. I can get it from Amazon, unfortunately, but I can also go to Williams-Sonoma and pay a little bit more, which I'd rather do.
Which is what we do, yeah.
Which I do. All right, this is important and this is fun. Okay. So there's my batter. It's basically a brownie batter. And I'm going to throw this in my pan. Okay. Important here, I am putting the brownie in first.
Yes.
If you wanted to spice this up a little bit, you can throw a little cayenne pepper in this part.
Oh.
Just to give it a little extra something.
Yeah. But remember what goes in first.
The brownie goes in first because it's heavier.
Yeah. So actually, because the bun gets flipped over, it's basically going in what would be the top of the bun.
Right.
When it's done. Jamie is wandering around.
Jamie is my #1 fan when I'm in the kitchen cooking.
Yes.
She's usually under my feet.
Yeah. We moved some stuff around a little bit, so she's a little bit like, I don't know what's happening. Also, it is, as we said, really hot. So she keeps going over where the fan is. She's clever.
We should have brought the fan in here.
Yeah.
Sorry for the noise.
Nope,
Knock
please.
yourself out. All right.
Oh, I'm gonna be good. We got things to do.
I licked a little bit. I'm just cleaning up the sides and the top a little bit because I kind of made a little mess. All right.
Yeah. So it looks like a brownie.
Yeah, looks like a brownie.
Looks like a brownie.
Right on bottom.
Yep. Kind of tastes like a brownie because it's fudgy.
It's very fun. I love this cake.
Yeah.
The New York Times actually put this cake out. There's a lot of variations. I've done a couple of the variations, but I really like New York Times better.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna set this guy to the side.
Yeah.
In my mixer, I have a can of dulce de leche. You can usually find this in a supermarket in the Mexican food aisle, not the milk aisle. Evaporated milk, a whole can in the milk baking aisle.
Yep. There's half a thing of cream cheese.
Have 4 ounces of cream cheese, so half a log. Really needs to be room temperature.
Yeah. A little bit of salt
Salt and vanilla.
and vanilla.
And for this, I did use my vanilla bean paste.
Yes.
And I have my eggs separately. I have 5 eggs here, kind of mixed up a little bit. I really want to get this going first before I drop in the eggs. So this mixer starts on really, really low, and then I can crank it up to go super high. No frills, just white. I'm just going to scrape down the sides because I have the dulce de leche. Dulce de leche is a Mexican caramel, and it's usually made with like a sheep's milk or goat's milk.
It's
usually
really good.
goat milk.
Yeah.
And it's a great alternative for me because I really can't do cow's milk.
Yeah. Fun fact.
Fun fact.
It's not so fun.
Can you grab me the small little ladle? You can see it on the side there.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to put this on low and just stream my eggs right down the center.
And you don't want to dump them, right?
Nope. Wouldn't this be funny if it just splattered all over me? Perfect.
Look at that.
All right.
Okay, I removed the camera from the tripod because we want you to be able to see what's happening. So go ahead, Joel.
All right. So my liquid is a flan liquid, very liquidy. So when I pour this in, I don't want to indent the cake. So you can use a spoon or anything and just slowly pour it in and then let it form around the cake.
And again, remember the order.
This is, it's not going to hurt, wouldn't do bad on the cake, but this is an important step to make sure you're not hitting that cake really hard with the pouring of the liquid. So I'm basically just pouring it in the ladle and letting it spill out around.
And then when it's done, you just pour the ladle.
Yep.
Perfect.
Oh, a little bit of caramel went in there. All right.
Nobody was ever hurt by a little bit of caramel.
No. Ooh.
All right.
God, this smells so good.
By the way, there is our Keith Haring runner. Just fun. All right. Let's go to the next step.
All right, our next step is we're going to cover it with foil because you really want to cover this tightly to keep the steam in there. Okay? Look, the flan is on top.
Yep. Which will be the bottom.
Right.
If you flipped it right now.
When we flip it over, that would be the bottom. Because this pan is fluted and has a lot of little nooks and crannies, it takes a lot to cinch the sides.
There's Jamie.
Hi, James.
Just came in from outside, so she's hot. Go drink water.
And she was rolling in my garden.
She was. Bad girl.
All right. So you need to do this in a boiler.
Yeah.
So when you do cheesecakes or flans, you want to do things in a water bath. All right, so I'm just going to put this in the water bath very carefully. I have up to my knuckle, so maybe about 2 inches of water, and that is just fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got my
What do you
water
think,
bath. and I have my cake, and we are going to go in a 350 degree oven for about an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Okay.
All right, it is in the oven, and we are going to pull this out in about 2 hours. But in the meantime, Greg and I are going to have a little fun and do a little Q&A with each other. All right?
Okay.
Okay.
So, do we want to start with would you rather, or do we want to do questions first?
Either one. Let's do Would You Rather.
Okay. So we thought it would be fun to, instead of doing a standard Q&A, we both looked online at would you rather questions, and I have 5, you have 5.
I do have 5.
And then when we're done with that, we have 3 just questions. So, do you want to go first or second?
I'll go first.
Go first.
That's going to be an easy one.
So he knows his. I have not seen his list.
And I don't know his.
Yeah. So, all right, go.
All right. Would you rather
Okay.
have, if you had to give up one, which one would you give up?
Oh no.
Grilled cheese or mac and cheese?
I would actually give up mac and cheese. That's not that hard for me. I'm sure it would be for a lot of other people, but I love, especially in winter, like a grilled cheese and a soup. That is one of my favorite comfort food meals. You know, we've eaten
I know, we do a lot of those.
grilled cheese and soup.
Yeah.
So I would want to keep that more than I would want to keep mac and cheese.
And I think with that answer, you can really switch up a lot of different cheeses to go into grilled cheese.
Yeah.
It's just not your sliced American in a little wrapper.
And you can use a lot of different breads.
Yeah, you can do a brie. I like doing a brie cheese with a little bacon and apples.
Yeah, and I had never had a grilled cheese with like turkey until you made that for me. It's magic. So I would not give up grilled cheese.
Yeah, good answer.
Okay. Well, would you agree?
Yes, I would.
All right.
But I really love mac and cheese,
Yeah.
and you can do a lot. But I do like I love grilled cheese and tomato soup. Greg doesn't like tomato soup, so I usually make him minestrone or something.
Yeah, usually we'll have the same soup, but sometimes when Joel really wants a tomato soup, we'll have to do 2 different soups. Sorry.
That's okay. It's all good.
All right,
Okay.
are you ready?
I am.
We're coming in hot. Would you rather go on tour with Elton John or Cher?
Oh, you son of
I know, right?
I think Elton John would be a lot more fun. I think if I went on tour with Cher, I'd have a lot of competition.
Oh, see, I think I would go with Cher. 1, because Moonstruck is one of my favorite movies of all time. But 2, she helped with the elephant.
She does.
So,
Do I get to go
yeah.
see an elephant with her?
I would say yes.
Okay.
So I say Cher, but Elton John is a good answer. There's no wrong answer.
There's no wrong
Yeah.
answer, but if I can see an elephant, I'm with Cher all the way.
Yeah.
But I think Elton John would be fun. I think he has a great
He would
sense
be
of
fun.
humor and be fun. But so does Cher.
So does Cher. She's
Oh.
very funny.
Yeah.
I know. It hurts.
I know. Elton John. I think he would be fun.
I'm going with Cher. All right, what do you have?
All right. If you had to give up one of these items,
Oh,
which
no.
would you give up? Mm-hmm. Chocolate or cookies?
No! Well, this is doubly painful because you know my favorite cookie
I know.
is a chocolate chip cookie.
But you can have your chocolate in a cookie, but that's the only way you can have chocolate is in a cookie.
So I can still, if I choose to keep cookies, I can still have chocolate in a cookie, or do I have to like give up chocolate completely?
I think so.
I think I have to give up
it's in a
chocolate
cookie.
completely.
It's in a cookie.
God, I can't give up chocolate though because
never
there's
have-
like mole.
You couldn't have mole. You couldn't have
mole.
s'mores.
Couldn't have s'mores. I couldn't have hot chocolate.
Yeah. Didn't you have a s'more blizzard tonight?
I did have a s'more blizzard tonight. Joel doesn't like s'mores. Fun fact about him.
I know. I could eat one, and that's it.
Yeah. So I feel like I have to give up cookies, and I hate you for making me do that.
Oh, you're
So-
gonna give up cookies?
I think I have to because
Oh,
otherwise chocolate goes into so many things that I like.
Ah,
And-
I wouldn't have guessed that.
I feel like it's a terrible choice.
All the Rochers are for me now.
Yes, they will be. So,
All right.
so you would give up cookies?
I
Or
think
would
I'd
you
give up
chocolate?
cookies.
You'd
I
give up
love chocolate in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, chocolate goes in. You couldn't have chocolate ice cream.
Cocoa flan.
Cocoa flan. I couldn't eat what we're making. So I have to.
Yeah. All right.
All right. That was terrible. That was terrible.
That was going to get worse.
No, see, I'm about to give you an easy one. Would you rather watch nothing but Hallmark Christmas movies or nothing but horror movies?
Hallmark Christmas. All the
It's
way.
our thing.
It's our thing.
I had to put it in because I saw it and it was like, oh yeah, this is not even hard. So if you follow along, you know we love Hallmark Christmas movies.
Yeah.
It's our kryptonite.
Well, that's funny that you bring that up.
Oh,
because
no.
I'm going into a new sort of would you rather questions.
Oh no.
Okay. We love Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
If any of you have seen or follow us, we do Christmas up. We decorate the house. We Christmas music 24/7.
We do.
We do a tree. We
Yeah.
do stockings, garlands, house,
We do multiple trees.
multiple trees.
Yeah.
Okay. So during the Christmas season,
Oh no. I'm scared.
would you rather have just a tree but no other festivities? No holiday meal, no music, no decorations,
No holiday meal?
no holiday meal,
Oof, that's-
no decorations, no Christmas village, no Christmas songs,
Okay.
but you get a tree.
Okay.
Or you can have the full-fledged Christmas but no tree.
Well, okay. So this is mean, first of all, because the Christmas tree is one of my favorite things to do every year, and it's a process before Joel can even be involved because I have to do the lights.
I do the roof.
Yeah. So while he's doing the roof, I do the lights on the tree, and then usually by the time you're finishing, I'm done with the tree, and then we
Yeah.
decorate the tree together. But like, it's a whole part of our ritual.
It is.
However, I don't want to give up the rest of it, and one of my favorite things is getting family and friends together for the meal. So like that alone to me is like I'd rather have that than a tree. Now, do I have to do this forever or just for 1 year?
Ever.
Forever? Oh. I'll keep the meal and the rest of the decorations, I guess.
I knew that was going to
But
be mean.
It is. It's
So
really
mean.
mean. And I was nice to you. I was nice to you. All right. See, and I have a cute one for you. See, he's devious. You didn't know this about him. Would you rather cuddle a koala or pal around with a panda? Now you're not eliminating one of them from the earth. That's the fun thing
Cuddle a koala or pal around
with a panda.
with a panda.
I guess you could hug the panda.
Yeah.
And I
could
assume
hug the
this is a
panda.
situation where the panda's not going to attempt to eat you.
The panda's going to eat my face off.
It is. Pandas are
They're mean.
meaner than you would
Yeah.
like to think.
But koalas are so darn cute.
They are. They're like teddy bears.
I'm going to go with the panda. Oh, no, the koala. I'm
Here
sorry.
you go. Yeah.
I'm going to go with the koala.
Okay.
I could have him as a little teddy bear.
I feel like if it's real world koala and panda, koala. But if this is some magical scenario where the panda's not going to try to eat my face, then I want the panda.
But does this
So-
mean that if I pick a koala, does Panda Express go away forever?
Yes. Let's just say yes.
We're doing koala.
Okay. What mean thing do you have for me?
Which language would you rather speak in if you had to?
Okay.
Christmas music lyrics or Christmas movie catchphrases?
Music, I think.
Yeah, I think
I find the Christmas music a lot more fun.
yeah.
I mean, Christmas movies are fun,
Yeah.
but you know, I love the music, so I would go for that. Yeah, you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Would you rather travel the world for free for a year or have $50,000 to spend however you please? It's not an easy question.
How much money?
50,000.
That's only a year's salary. I would rather travel the world for free and go anywhere I want.
That's my answer too, because travel, as we know, it was so hard for us to go to Italy. Travel is a privilege. It's expensive. If you have kids or pets, you have to figure out if you're going to take them, and if you're going to take them, you have to figure out what you're going to do with them, and it's going to compromise what you do. Like, we wanted to take Jamie to Canada with us for our anniversary, and then we realized we would really limit what we could do when we got there.
But amazingly enough, we saw so many people with dogs in restaurants, dogs on the park.
Yeah,
and
we did. Sorry, Jamie.
Yeah, our bad.
And you have to figure out child care if you're traveling. So to be able to go anywhere in the world you want for a year and not have to worry about expense would be huge. Like, think of all the places we could go in a year. So I would absolutely do that. Yeah.
All right, my last one. Would you rather be visited by the ghost of Christmas past or the ghost of Christmas future?
Wasn't Christmas future scary?
Well, he could deliver you bad news.
He could. I feel like past, because Christmas, I tend to think a lot about family and friends and things that have happened in the past. So I feel like it would be fun to go back and look at. Like, I want to know what your Christmas was like as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would go with that.
Well, I was going to make a comment on what my Christmas was like, but I can't. So my cousin may watch this channel.
Uh-oh. Now, tell me when we're not filming, because I want to know. All right. Would you rather be able to speak any language or be able to communicate with animals?
Well, with Jamie, I would love to communicate with animals.
Yeah.
What's wrong? What do you say?
Yeah.
Speak any language?
Speak any language.
Well, if we're going to travel the world for free, I want to speak any language.
That's fair.
I would actually like that because I figured you could always figure out something with the dog, but I'm kind of a giver and I want to help people. And it's like the couple we saw in Italy. We didn't speak their language, they didn't speak ours. We still got them to where they needed to go.
Yeah. So when we were in Rio Maggiore, it's not, if you've just arrived and you've never been there before, it's really hard to figure out where you're going. So there was this couple, I don't remember what language they spoke, but they didn't speak English, they didn't speak Italian, and didn't know where they were going, and we'd had a hard time trying to help them. So,
but we did.
I feel like I would still say communicate with animals, because it would be nice, obviously, to talk to Jamie. Jamie would be mean to us if she could talk. She would be mean to us.
She'd be horrible
if she could talk. But then if you're hiking and like a bear came up, it'd be cool to be able to say, "Hey, yo,
what up, bro?"
No, friends. So I think I would say communicate with animals.
I honestly, I would too. I love animals, and I think it'd be fun. But I think realistically and getting through a lot of traveling and stuff, I still think people would be fun. And I'm fascinated with languages too.
Yeah,
so.
I do wish I was able to speak more languages.
Yeah, you're good with Italian.
Well, I grew up, my mother's family is Italian, so, you know. All right, questions. Do you want to go first or second?
You can go first on this one.
All right. So, I went back, as I said, through my old 3K Q&A questions, and I found one from, I want to say it was from Katie Books. All right, it's your last meal. Choose a starter, main course, and dessert. And I figured this was fun because it's a food question. So, and we're doing food.
And I've already thought about this.
Have you?
No, this is a question I've gotten a lot. So, I'm trying to remember what my answer was back then. But a starter would be probably something with cheese and nice cheese and charcuterie plate or something like that.
Nice.
But my dinner would be, this is going to sound a little pretentious, would be a prime rib or ribeye steak, they're same cut, cooked differently, with foie gras and duck breast.
Oh.
So.
That's good. And then what's your dessert?
My dessert, probably tiramisu.
It's a good one. I made him tiramisu for his birthday once.
It was amazing.
It was okay. So, I'm pretty sure this was, I didn't go back and look at my answer, but I'm pretty sure, you know me, I love breakfast. I am a breakfast fiend. So, my answer is breakfast for dinner, or breakfast for last meal, depending whenever they give it. So, my starter would probably be an assortment of pastries. Like, I want some biscuits in there. I would like some of your cinnamon rolls, because he makes really great cinnamon rolls.
On 20,000, we'll make cinnamon rolls.
There you go. And so like an assortment of pastries, there'd have to be biscuits and Joel's cinnamon rolls. The main course would be pancakes with scrambled eggs. And, throw in, what do you call it? The runny egg that I like. Help me.
The
egg that
over easy?
Over easy. Thank you. It shouldn't have been that hard, but I just completely blanked on the type of egg.
He likes the yolk.
I do. So pancakes, the over easy egg, and sausage, maybe a little crispy bacon, and then dessert. And this is going to be really messed up if according to the Would You Rather, I can't have cookies anymore because my dessert would be probably a chocolate chip cookie, like maybe Levain, or if you want to make your version of a Levain. If you're in New York City, get some cookies from Levain. It's amazing. And milk. So that would be mine.
Yeah.
All right, what do you have?
All right. You could have dinner with one famous person.
Oh, no.
Who would that be, dead or alive? They would be alive. If they're dead now, they'd be alive and at dinner.
That would, be helpful.
They're not
Because it would be really awkward to be sitting across from a dead body. Like Norman Bates talking to his mother.
And if we want to narrow this down for your channel, we can go
I think I'm
authors.
going bookish anyway.
Bookish, okay.
Part of me wants to say E.M. Forster or Jane Austen because they lived in a time before social media and before there were like videos and interviews and things like that. So it would be more fun to get to know them. But I feel like it's Toni Morrison because that would just be an incredible conversation. So I think I'd go with her.
Nice.
What would your answer be? Bookish or not?
No, I'll stick with bookish, and I think you'll agree with me on this. But
Okay.
I don't really know a lot of personally about some of the authors, but I think I would really like to have dinner with Benjamin Alir Sands
Oh, yeah.
because he's like a big hug.
He is like a hug.
He is phenomenal.
Yeah.
He wrote Aristotle and Dante books and the
Inexplicable Logic of My Life.
which are all high on my list.
Yeah.
And I think he would be fun because I would like to know what his life was. He's an older gay man.
He came out later.
Yeah, and I would like to know what his life was like in El Paso, Texas.
Yeah.
And
that's a good answer.
yeah, I like him. He's so sweet and charming.
He is. He is like a hug in person. When you said you thought I would agree, for some reason I thought you were going for Ernest Hemingway.
Daddy Bear.
But yours was better. So as I was going through questions in the 3K Q&A, and you were not a part of the channel at that point, a lot of people asked about my journey with books and how I got started as a reader. So I figured I would ask you, what is your bookish journey in life? I kind of know the answer, but for everyone here.
For everyone else. To be honest with everybody, I read books, a few. I mean, I've always read the Tess Garrison books, as you know, I like her.
Yeah.
And I've read Stephen King, and I read a lot of genres that were different. But until Greg's channel and I started listening to some of the books he was reading, I've had such a vast expansion on what I read because of this guy right here. There's so many books I would never ever, it's like, I ain't gonna read that. And I have loved them. Actually, I started to read Aristotle and Dante, and I read the book, and I couldn't get into it because it does have a slow start.
A little bit, yeah. It does feel like, and we saw this when we would listen to it again driving to Canada, it does feel like not much happens in the book.
Yeah.
For a while.
And so then I did the audio with
Miranda.
And he sucked me into it. But now that I've read the audio, I've actually kind of glanced through the books and read the books. And I'm reading a whole lot more. And because I drive a lot, I do a lot of audio.
Yeah.
But I am doing a lot of reading I do both fiction, nonfiction. I do a lot of literary, some classics. I like my male romance, but I also like little gay stories. We just did Red, White, and Royal Blue.
Yes, we just finished it today.
Super cute.
Yeah.
And not everything has to have the little steamy scenes in it, which this didn't.
No, not many. No.
Yeah, but
Or a little bit.
I like reading like I'm living in a world where nobody cares if you're gay or not.
Yeah.
Everything's going to come out happy. And I don't know, but my reading has really expanded a lot.
Well, to be fair, I mean, when we first met, one of our first conversations, I think it was we were sitting in the Hungarian pastry shop in the Upper West Side, And I think that's the day you brought up Tess Gerritsen and Call Me By Your Name, and I immediately went out. You had a copy of a Tess Gerritsen book. I don't remember. I think it was The Keepsake.
Keepsake, I think.
And you loaned that to me, and then I ran out and got a copy of Call Me By Your Name, and I enjoyed both of them. So you actually you had like immediate literary recommendations that worked really well. So.
And I would say Call Me By Your Name is still probably in my top 2, 3, or 4.
Yeah, just not the movie.
All times. Just not
Just
the
not the
movie.
movie.
God, that should never have been made. So.
Fair. Okay, what do you have?
I know you write. You write beautifully. If you were a writer, what would your genre be?
Oh, see, I don't even know, because I feel like in my mind, if you told me I could write like anyone, I would love to write like Marilyn Robinson. She wrote Gilead. So that's what in my head I would like to write like, but I feel like the much more realistic thing is that I would probably end up writing just kind of like what you were talking about. Kind of wholesome cinnamon bun kind of energy things, and maybe gay romance type things. I'm a little bit torn because I feel like I would actually want to do both. I would want to, I think it would be fun to do a little bit of romance and then be a little serious. And it's even with reading. I feel like I love the gay romances, the holiday romances, but I need to mix serious things in there as well. So I feel like I would want to do both, but the struggle is I don't know if like the literary world would like someone who does both. So I don't know. Does that answer? Is that?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I know you write a lot. I just don't know what you would want to write.
And I don't know. That's why I don't write a novel. So yeah, that's the honest answer.
Okay.
So
What do you got?
all right, final question. This is another thing that came up a lot in my 3K Q&A, and I'm revisiting a little bit because a lot of people have come on. I mean, 3,000 to 10,000, that's a lot of new people who might not have seen those. So one of the most common questions was, how did we end up in Montana? And actually, how we ended up in Montana started with you. So, because I had never been here when we met. So, go for it. How did we end up in Montana?
So when I graduated culinary school, my first job was in Glacier National Park at Mini Glacier Hotel as a sous chef. And I worked 6 days a week. On my 7th day off, on my 1 day off, I did laundry. So I didn't get to really hike or do a lot. So I always knew someday I was going to come back to Montana because it's gorgeous here.
Yeah, it is.
Back then, I didn't have any kind of a political mind to know what was happening around me. So it always seemed like a good idea. It still is. Then I went to Seattle, and then I wanted to try something different. So I went to New York City and met this guy. Wrong place, wrong time.
We knew, I'm jumping in, I'm sorry.
No, go.
We knew we didn't want to stay in New York forever. We had been talking about places we would go, and we didn't want to raise kids in New York City. We didn't want a dog in New York City. We were living in a 6th floor walk up. So if a dog needed to get up in the middle of the night, you had to walk down 6 flights, go outside into the street, and then come back and up 6 flights. It was just going to be a nightmare. So we were talking about places, and your father and stepmother live in Helena,
right.
And we came to visit them, and I really so you were kind of thinking of Montana, and then when we came to visit them, I started kind of thinking Montana as well. Especially when they took us to Big Dipper and we got huckleberry ice cream.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
Yes, he is sold.
Yeah, I was sold.
But we came to Montana, and we actually went through Glacier Park. Mm-hmm. Then we went up to the Canadian Rockies where we got married. Right there.
Right there. We were looking at that.
And then we just came back down, and it is a really nice place to live. It's a wonderful community we're in.
Yeah.
We're in a very blue area of a red state.
Missoula and Bozeman are the college towns in Montana, so they have the most kind of liberal attitudes. I mean, politically, it is a tough state to live in for 2 gay men. There's a great queer community here that we have found, and we're kind of happy to be a part of it. So it's been nice.
And we got lucky. Neighbors on each side of us are phenomenal. They are. The couple over here, they're fascinating. They're in their 70s. but really a young 70. A lot of the same interests we have. They're big foodies. They have
readers.
foster kids. They're readers. They just got a dog, and so we have a lot in common with them, and we have a great relationship and fun. And the family over here is a grandmother, her daughter, and 2 granddaughters.
Yeah.
And they're all just lovely.
They're all lovely.
The youngest granddaughter used to come over and bring us little treats every now and then.
Yeah.
She's really sweet.
She's in high school now, so not doing that as much as she used to. But
Right.
yeah.
Well, that was fun.
Well, don't you have one more?
Oh, I do. Okay, work with me here. So Greg has the most beautiful collection of Pulitzer Prize winning books. So,
Thank you.
you are reading, you're welcome. And you're reading through all of the Pulitzers.
Yeah.
When you're done with the Pulitzers for literature, are you going to jump into drama?
Yes. So,
And this was a question that I saw before, which I didn't know.
Yeah.
From JMZZZ number 1.
yeah. Thank you, because I forgot about that question. So, thank you.
I researched.
Yeah, very good. I don't think I'm going to work the drama category into my Pulitzer project. I do think in some circumstances it will be interesting to consider. So, South Pacific. Rather, the book is called Tales of the South Pacific by James Michener. It won a Pulitzer Prize for fiction. It's the only book that has technically won 2 Pulitzer Prizes for fiction, because then it was adapted into the stage musical for Broadway, and that won a Pulitzer Prize for drama. So I've considered reading the play, or like the musical script, as a sort of addendum to Tales of the South Pacific when I do. So that would be a sort of inclusion. Herman Wouk, I don't actually know how to pronounce his name, but the guy who wrote The Caine Mutiny, which won a Pulitzer Prize for fiction, he actually adapted his own work into a stage play. It didn't win the Pulitzer Prize for drama, but he did adapt it into a play. So I have also, actually they have a copy of it at Bruised Books in Pullman.
Oh, nice.
I didn't get it, but they have it. So I have thought about incorporating that, but I wouldn't do all of the drama, because the other thing is a lot of those would be really difficult to find and track down copies of, and I would also really want to see them performed, and that could be a little bit difficult. So it would just be a whole can of worms that I don't want to open. And I think he had asked what was next, right?
Yeah, and what are you going to do after all that?
Did he say National Book Award specifically? Okay. Probably not National Book Award. I think once I'm done with the Pulitzer Prize project, it's going to take a long time because I'm not rushing anything. I don't think I would want to jump into another book award as a project because a lot goes into it. And I'm not as familiar with a lot of the Booker Prize winners, so I couldn't do that. Women's Prize is a little shorter, so I would maybe think about that one. But National Book Award is probably the one that I would be most familiar with. So if I were doing a book award, it probably would be the National Book Award. But I think what I would do next, and I haven't really thought it through, but I think I would start working on a particular author. Because, I've been collecting Louise Erdrich's books.
Right.
So she would probably be the first author. And just read all of her books. And probably do them in order of publication. I think that would be a fun and really interesting project. And then once I finished with her, I would probably go on to another author. Like maybe, I've already gone out of order with Toni Morrison, but she would be an interesting one. Barbara Kingsolver would be an interesting one. Willa Cather would be an interesting one. So I think once I'm done with the Pulitzer Prize project, I wouldn't do a book award. I would probably just do the whole career of an author.
Have you read all of Ian Forster's? Because I did get you that beautiful box set.
You did get me a beautiful box set.
That,
yeah, we have to mention that. Beautiful birthday present from this guy. I've read all but one at this point. So
cool.
Yeah.
I think the only, I can't say that. The only author. I've read all of Tess Gerritsen's Rizzolian Isles series. Yeah. I do more of the series, but I think I've read all of Benjamin Alir Sand's books.
There are not many authors that I could say I've read all of their books. Yeah. I really, if they've written more than 2 books, I've read most of Kurt Vonnegut. He's probably the author I'm the closest to. But even like Jeffrey Eugenides, I have read all of his books except for his story collection, which is called Fresh Complaint. So there's usually, if there's an author I've read most of their work, there's something that's missing. So
I have read some recent authors who I've loved their books. Christine Garbo, local Montana author.
Montana.
I've been doing her series because it's a Glacier Park series, which is just in our back door here.
Yeah.
And I really like them. They're good. So I've done her whole series. And I think that's all she's done is the Glacier Park series. So I like reading books in series because I like to follow characters.
That makes sense. Nice. Well, I think that's the question part.
That's it.
And the would you rather. I am not wearing my glasses, so I can't see how much time we've killed. But also, I'm standing right in front of the oven, and it's really hot.
Yeah, so it's 99 degrees out there. It's 350 in here. So we're going to take a little break. We will be right back to look at a cake.
So, later.
Bye. All right, welcome back. We have our cake out of the oven. It was in there for about 2 hours. I pulled it out and let it rest for about an hour. And then I put it in the refrigerator for 2 hours. So, all right, so we're going to flip it out on our cake plate now. So, get it uncovered. I really hope this works.
Sounds like it fell.
I think it did.
Let's get okay, close.
Now remember, we put our chocolate cake and our flan there. So when we flip it over, the flan should be on the bottom and the chocolate cake on top. But it's not.
Magic.
Magic. So we have the flan on top and the chocolate cake on bottom.
Yeah. I don't understand science, but something about the baking process, they switch sides.
They did. So let me grab a fork and a knife, and we're going to cut into this and show you what the cross-section looks like of a cake.
Yeah.
But didn't that turn out beautiful?
It did.
This is actually a fun mold to do this in. I've done it in a couple of different ones. They all work well because they always come out nice.
Yeah.
And it's fun. So.
And one thing you were also saying is if you have extra dulce de leche, you can drizzle it.
Absolutely. So I'm all about being fair. And I didn't want to get this cake because I feel like when you cut it in sections, it doesn't come out to be the same size for everybody. Because when we had our foster kid living here, I wanted to make sure everybody's slice was the same. And I think this cake, actually, because of the way the ripples are, they all come out to be about the same size. Okay.
Looking pretty.
All right. I love my dessert plates.
Christmas present many years ago.
Yep, from my man.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Look at that. So pretty. And it tastes really good. But yeah. Don't know what makes them... I'm sure it has to do with like density.
Density, and when it's in the water bath and it's hot, it all. So that is our cake. So
let's try it.
Bon appetit.
Bon appetit.
All right. We have Greg back with us, and we're going to take a little bite.
Now, when you do this, do you get everything, or do you do them in individually?
I do everything. I like everything in one bite.
That's really good. It's a good cake. The recipe will be down there.
Yes. The flan is nice and silky.
And it's a little caramelly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not too grainy, but really nice. But then that chocolate cake is nice and dense and really dark chocolate.
Yeah, because it's got the nice, dense, cakey chocolate part, and then the flan part is really creamy. But it has texture and holds together really well. Yep. So, yeah, it's
all
delightful.
Right. Well, thank you for joining us.
I'm going to keep eating cake. Well, thank you. This was fun.
You bet.
Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed it.
We appreciate everybody being here and being 10,000 followers strong, and look forward to some more.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you for doing this.
You bet. Thank you.
And thank you for your time. As always, we really appreciate it. And we'll be back, both of us.
And happy baking.
And happy baking. I like that. That's a nice touch. You're adorable.